So we're going to go check out another liquor store in my local town. Use this camera with this fancy tracking gimbal ability that I have not really sorted out yet, but we're getting there. So here we go. And stay to the end and we'll talk about some upcoming news and releases. Alright. So here we are at Campbell Station Wine and Spirits. See a friend of the channel, Nate, and see what's down in this place. But yeah, this gimbal, up is down, down is up. It's very confusing. So here's their Jack Daniel's selection, and some good old Nelson Brothers stuff there. That Greenbrier Tennessee, that whiskey one right there, that is also made by Greenbrier, who makes Nelson Brothers. So yep, all there, Chattanooga. We talked about that the other day, and the 12th edition founders there. And Davidson's Reserve, and that Daddy Rack, like Caddyshack, but Daddy Rack. It doesn't say distilled by, but it's obviously Tennessee whiskey. They sort of imply on their website, but this Old Kirk. Now, this got real popular at one point when the story was it was a Willet distillate. Which I don't even know if that's a good thing for me or not, but yeah, their bourbon is good, so yeah, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Frank August there is fancy bottle, and all the Jefferson stuff, and the Remus Babe Ruth, $210 sitting on the shelf, and you can scan that barcode there, and each bottle represents one of the times at bat for Babe Ruth. So maybe it was a home run, maybe it was just a bunt, maybe it was an out, but you get the story of that time at bat. So it's pretty interesting stuff. I think there's another higher level bottle, and it's like a guaranteed a home run. So yeah, very interesting stuff. Made by the same people as Remus, so it's MGP. But yeah. So I heard a rumor that during COVID they couldn't get their normal bottles, so the Smoke Wagon came out with some clear ones, but of their uncut, unfiltered. And apparently there was some extra special juice in there, so yeah, keep a lookout for dusty ones of those, I guess. And the Clover and 2XO, that Clover's pretty interesting and pretty good. Some Bibb & Tucker and Clyde May down here, some Nulu, some Hirsch. I actually picked up their Hirsch store pick, which was damn delicious. 1920s and 10s, which we love. There's that camp stock whistle pig that is, I don't know, the staves are cooked in one of those camp solo stoves. Yeah, I don't know. But some of their stuff is not bad. There's that bourbon rye, the Knob Creek bourbon rye that I've been hearing a lot of good things about. Still haven't really got myself a bottle. And they also had a Woodford Reserve Double Oak pick, which was also amazing. It was a real hard pick to pick each one of those, but I never had a Hirsch, so I may not be saying that right, but that's the one that I decided to pick. They had some New Riff 8 years too, which was over on this table later on. There's the Uncle Nearest. I've seen the 777 Uncle Nearest that's out. At Hulling Station, they have some store picks. There's the Knoxville Society single barrel one, it's really good. Tried it at a local bar. Some of the 2XO, the Tribute, and then there's the newer ones. They're all pretty good. I do like the Kentucky Gem though, so this is me just scanning the bottom shelf because, it's the bottom shelf. Nothing really too interesting. Trying to get the gimbal to work, getting over to the Jim Beam, and the flavoured Jim Beam and the flavoured stuff. There's Benchmark sitting down there once again. Need to pick up a Benchmark if anyone recommends me getting a Benchmark. And then zooming in, seeing what it looks like a Tyrone G. Picked up the CNF, the last one, so probably good for the old Kentucky Spirit for a while. Maker's Mark, that's one of the things we'll be talking about at the end, is their new Cellar Age 2024. That was released, well, it's going to be released during Bourbon Fest, so can't wait to get a bottle of that. This is sort of around the corner on the wall, and this is all their rye. They keep their rye just on the other side here of the bourbons there. There's some barrel. Barrel makes some really good seagrass rye. One of my bourbon groups did a rye pick. It was 6-year. That was really good. That Rye 3 cigar barrel, that, if I wasn't going to the Bourbon Fest, I'm probably going to spend a fortune. I would definitely be picking that up, because that one is really good. So if you see that one, get it. If you see that Willet thing next to it, don't get it. There's some rare perfection. I had like a 12-year. Now, the 12-year one is bourbon, so you want to look for the bourbon. That's Canadian whiskey. But the bourbon one is fantastic, and it's a lot harder to find. That's their other store pick that I tried. Pretty high proof there, and really good. And if I didn't have like 3 or 4 of those things sitting on my shelf, I would probably pick up that one. Some peanuts. Peanuts. Some Basil Hayden's and Pinhook. Lots of good stuff down here. There's the Pursuit United Rye. Pretty keen to try the Double Oaked Rye at the Bourbon Fest. That's one I'm definitely looking out for, because the Pursuit United Bourbon Double Oak is fantastic. They're using the Campbell. There's Old King's Family Distillery. It's a local one, and with a little bit of Australia. 3 chords is normally pretty good stuff, and that A. Overholt and the Mangahala Mash. Green River Rye, that's another really good one, like $36, and it's really good. It's one hell of a rye for $36, and there's Jack Daniel's Bonded, another hell of a rye for about that same $36 mark. So yeah, good selection of ryes, and going down here, and they had a really good selection of scotch, like really big different selection of all sorts of scotches. Not really my scene, but here they all are, zooming around. They have Fireball, of course. We can talk a little bit about Fireball in a minute, but they had a Macallan there too, that Harmony collection, 214 Macallan Amber Meadow Harmony. So there's a couple of different versions of that. Buddy of mine's into the old Macallan, so got him a one that we took for a wedding, and it wasn't that one, but it was like that one. The old Blue Label. That buddy of mine is also into Blue Label. $3.75. I used to think that was expensive. Anyway, that 2XO Kentucky Gem, that's another good one. Pricey, but really good. Bardstown, different collaboration ones there, and there's a taster. I think that was the tequila one. So now we're going to go taste some whiskey with Nate and talk a little bit about bourbon. Here we go. So anyway, this is Nate. Nate from Campbell Station. What's your role here, Nate?
I'm the spirits manager.
Spirits manager.
Yes, sir.
Cool. So that means you deal with all these delicious spirits and stuff like that?
Yeah, I have a fun job.
Yeah, I imagine.
It's not a bad way to make a living.
Oh man, this Woodford is delicious.
Yeah, it's unlike most. It's not that heavy chocolate bomb like most double oaks are. It's more light and refreshing than just.
This is the one that sort of got me into whiskey a little bit. You know, I got the double oak, and it was sort of the first one I could really sip neat, and it was like, oh, this actually, and that leads down the road of what's double oak, what's all the rest of it.
That's what I leave my friends for. And they're like, oh, I want to try some bourbon. I'm like, try this.
Yes.
You know, don't start with Basil Hayden and Jim Beam like everybody else does. Dive in there and get something good.
Well, that's good too.
Yeah, and like I said, that's a hidden brand that a lot of people know what Hirsch is.
What are the Hirsch run cost wise?
I'll say what is it now? It's $49.99.
That's decent.
Yeah.
That's good. So, but how do you do allocations?
So allocations, we reward our regular customers. If you're a customer, we have an email list that goes out. As long as you're a loyal customer, we know you are. We put notes on the computer what you like, and so when we get stuff in, we'll go to the computer and say, all right, you know, you've been a loyal customer, you can get this, you can get this,
and that's MSRP or close to.
Everything is MSRP.
Yeah,
we never raise anything, and then I do random drops all the time. Stuff on the shelf.
Hidden stuff.
Yeah, we've got McKenna on the shelf right now. People keep passing by. I put stuff in random spots. See, I mean, we've got the Babe Ruth.
Yeah,
sitting on the shelf.
Yeah.
And like people walk by everything, and so I mean, we do it all the time just for fun.
That's cool. Yeah, it's a good way of doing it, to get the new people in.
Yeah,
that's cool. It seems to be a good way. Like in Tennessee, you've got a couple of there's no perfect system, right? But
There's not.
you know, in Tennessee, you really have the two extremes. You've got the museum places where, you know, I went into one the other day, $1,000 they wanted for a bottle that should have been like $300.
And the funny thing is, like, a lot of stores in Tennessee do stuff they're not supposed to do. Like, the point system is illegal in Tennessee.
Yeah, not allowed.
But it's not stopping stores from doing it.
Yeah.
So but no, we do everything MSRP. Like, we do one huge event at the end of the year, like everybody does.
Yep.
But everything's at MSRP. Like, I think last year our Weller 12 was $45.
Yep.
Our B tax were 135 plus tax.
When's that event, and how does that work?
It's usually in November, and we take sales from the whole year, and we see who's spent the most, and then, you know, if you're a member of you don't have to. It's not a bourbon club at all.
Right.
You can spend all your money on wine, and at the end of the year, hey man,
You get a phone call.
Yeah, you get a phone call.
Huh.
Ron, where are you?
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
That's cool.
And so we let you come in, and if you can't come in, we could do it over the phone. You choose a couple of bottles, and, you know, we have like section tier A or tier 1, 2, and 3, and be like, you know, you have one of each, and then usually when everybody picks a bottle, like, go ahead and take a Weller 12 with you on the way, and we don't even count that one as part of the allocations. You just
cool.
get one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I saw some Weller 12s in Oak Ridge the other weekend, $150 or something like that. You know, I was like,
I saw it for $163 last week around town.
Yeah. And that's why a lot of other states will never see it, right? And so that's the thing with Tennessee. If you want it, you can get it. You just got to pay for it. You pay through the nose for it. So it's a bit ridiculous.
And it's what one of the ridiculous things is, if I count out how much antique I get through the year, I get more Weller 12 at the end of the year than I do antique all year long.
Wow. Yeah, that's
it makes no sense at all.
I don't know how they do their frickin' distribution. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
You know, it's, of course, in Tennessee, it's based on what you buy, how much you get, and like you have to buy so much Southern Comfort and all this other stuff that they don't want. Yeah,
Wheatley vodka and freaking Fireball or whatever. But would that be your biggest seller? Like, your biggest sellers here are probably the lower end stuff.
The biggest seller is Fireball.
Yeah,
that's the number one seller.
Crazy. Everyone poo-poos on it, and everyone's like, "Oh god, that's so disgusting." But yeah,
and we get by the pallet full, and it's just and it goes like.
Right.
But yeah, that's the biggest seller is Fireball.
So what's on the shelf right now? Like, if someone's coming and say, "Hey, recommend me like a good high quality bottle," what would you say?
High quality, I would say the Frank August. If you never had, I love that one. Besides our barrel picks, of course, and the Ben Holidays.
Ben Holidays are good. Yeah, they're real good.
And those are the two. If I was to say, hey, you need to try something that's not normal, try those two, and that's what I go with. Besides the store pick, obviously.
Yeah, store picks are great too.
Yeah.
Well, thanks.
Oh, no problem at all.
See you next time. Oh,
yes, sir.
Get over.
Well, thanks again, Nate, for showing me through Campbell Station Wine and Spirits. If you're ever in the area and you need anything, definitely stop in, talk to Nate, and talk to the rest of the guys there. They've got a lot of good stuff. So, hang around and we'll talk a little bit about what's coming up soon as far as bourbon release news and Kentucky Bourbon Fest.
So, upcoming release news, Coy Hill. Coy Hill has been released today, so September 9th. They're not in the stores, but they say they're heading that way. There's no release at the distillery as far as I know, but we'll be keeping an eye out. It is not hazmat. It is between like 125 and 137 proof, and from warehouse 8, not 13 this time. So, cool, man. I can't wait to get me one of these and try it up against the old one, see which is better. Something else just been released. Bardstown's released a couple of things. They've got their collaboration with Silver Oak, which is a wine finished bourbon, and they've got their new high wheat bourbon, which is a high percentage wheat. I've heard the high wheat is really good, and Disco 12, which I've heard is fantastic. So they're all going to be great. So yeah, Kentucky Bourbon Fest this weekend. Really looking forward to that. It's going to be amazing. Maker's Mark, Cellar Age 2024. That is going to be released during the event. So
It wasn't a huge fan of the 23. It's great, but it's not amazingly great. But the 24 is a year older, so maybe it'll be a little bit better. The reviews are not as good maybe as the 23, but still, probably be there at 5 o'clock in the morning on Friday to try and get one of those. And what else have we got? There is William Heavenhill. Sorry. And they're releasing their Parker Heritage, which is this year is a malt whiskey, so high percentage malt, the rest corn. So maybe not my jam, but hey, I'll give it a go. And so yeah, so Bourbon Fest. Hopefully we see people there. Say hi if you see me. I'm the guy with looks like this with this face, probably with this funny camera thing. I won't hopefully be able to work. And yeah, gonna be a good time. See you there.